and welcome to September's edition of SME Clinic. And this month we're talking about business management and personal finance. And yes, I'm not going to be doing this alone because I'm not a pro in this case. So if you happen to be an SME owner, or maybe you have a friend that owns an SME, well, tell them to hop on the call. Join us via YouTube right here on Business Day Television, because we're going to be talking about your business, how to manage your business as well as your personal finance. And of course, as I said, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I've got 6 beautiful speakers right here that's going to be doing this alongside myself. I'm going to start with Victoria Jaja. So you start by introducing yourself. Just have 2 minutes to do that. Introduce yourself, what you do, and where you work.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Jaja. I am a brand marketing and sales expert. I major basically in business and marketing, and I currently work for a prestigious law firm in Lagos, and I am everybody or anything you need to know about brands and marketing, or even personal branding. And this is my field, and I love it so much, and I feel like it's something that everyone should know and everyone should understand, hence my advocacy for this particular subject. So it's wonderful to be on this platform, and I'm happy to be here today with these really wonderful speakers and to be on Business Day. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Victor.
All right, we'll be moving on to the next person, Zuberu Kadiri, yes, yeah. Zuberu Kadiri.
Hi everyone, my name is Zuberu Kadiri. I am a wealth manager and a citizenship and residency by investment expert. I'm currently country manager for Reef Trust Nigeria, which is one of the leading citizenship and residency by investment firms in the world. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that one. And next person right here, Adeshino Adewumi.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good evening, wherever our audience are joining in from. My name is Adeshino Adewumi. I'm the CEO for TradeLender. TradeLender is a digital bank committed to providing strategic financing for MSMEs all across emerging markets. We're currently operational in Nigeria, and we've been supporting MSMEs for the last 3 years. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And for our next person, Ogugua Belonwu. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good to be here. I'm the founder and CEO of My Job Lab. My Job Lab is a recruitment platform in Nigeria. So I'm also a software developer, but I have this personal interest in people. So anytime we talk about recruitment or you want to hire, I'm your go-to person. So I'll be happy to share tips and also to learn from my fellow founders and business leaders.
All right, thank you very much for that short one. And our next person, Olami Dotun Votu Obada.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, apologies. I'm going to have my camera on shortly. My name is Olami Dotun. I am a serial entrepreneur. I founded several companies, including an immigration consultancy. I currently write children's books. I have moved on from that. I also have a background in finance that I feel like it keeps running after me, and finance has basically allowed me to do what I do successfully. I'm really excited to be on this panel. I'm really looking forward to speaking and learning from everybody else. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And last but not the least, Abraham Great. Is Abraham Great with us? All right, hopefully he joins the call soon. Again? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
He's
now.
going to join shortly.
All right. Thank you very much for that information.
Yes, just go ahead.
All right, no problem. So, first things first, we're going to begin with our beautiful speakers giving us a short presentation of what exactly business management is and also financial, or rather personal finance. And I'm going to begin randomly, at random. I'm not, pointing fingers or anything. I'm beginning randomly, and I'm going to start with Ogugwa Belonwu.
Great stuff. So basically, business management has to do with everything around business, all the activities, all the operations from finance, human resources, marketing, and every other thing around the business that you can think of, right? And it looks at how can you run businesses efficiently and effectively, right? So it's a very broad topic that has that touches every aspect of a business. However, for this session, I'll be spending time on my core area, which is on the human resource angle, right? So basically, for the past 10 years, I've been talking to SMEs and business owners, right, about hiring and people. And it's a very interesting topic, and where we face lots of challenges as SMEs, finding the right people, the right talents. Can we retain, when you find them, can you retain them? When you retain them, can you pay them, and all of that. So I'll be loving to discuss these topics. I have a slide. I don't know if I can quickly share that. Is that possible
10
to
minutes.
share?
Yes,
Okay,
you can.
great.
You can. If it's not going to be more than 10 minutes.
No, it won't.
All right, great.
Okay, good stuff. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's my slide. So basically, this is the definition of business management. I don't want to boss with that. Basically, it's the art and science of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the activities of a business. This is a topic that people spend 2 years or 4 years in school to study, and there are different aspects. You have the financial, you have the strategy, you have the operations, you talk about leadership, risk, customers, depending on the nature of your business, you have the supply, you have the project management, and so on. And the human resources, product, quality, risk, crisis, and so on. So for the next 8 minutes or 9 minutes, I'll be looking at the human resources management in every business. So as I said earlier, people is a big challenge for SMEs, right? Because of the peculiar nature of small businesses in Nigeria, limited pockets, limited branding, and so on. So it's a bit difficult attracting the right people, for our businesses. So that's what I'll be looking at, and top tips on how we can navigate it going forward. So now the first problem I've observed over the years is even the first challenge of attracting the right people, right? So when you have people post jobs on My Job Mag, they worry that, oh, we're not getting the right people. Or you can invite top talents to interviews and they don't turn up, right? So basically, the first challenge I see with that is a branding challenge. These people you're looking for, they also have the kind of people they are looking for. So you need to be the kind of people they are looking for them to be attracted to you. So the first thing I tell every employer is work on your employer brand. Because those top talents, before they apply for any position, they don't just randomly throw CVs. They'll first of all check you out. Who are you? What are you doing? Is your website looking good? As basic as it is, what's your social media like? And so on, right? So it's the first place to start. You must have a good image online and equally offline, depending on your nature of business. So when you've done that, one other area I feel that many SMEs kind of suffer is the job description. It looks very easy, but in the era of AI, when an HR person is tasked to hire or fill a role, the person can just quickly go to ChatGPT and say, oh, ChatGPT, generate a JD for a software development role, which is fine. But the issue there is that ChatGPT gives you a template to work with, right? It's now up to you to now make the template come alive. And what do I mean by making the template come alive? Every job description you post as an SME must carry your story. So that story, sentences, 4 sentences, 2 or 3 paragraphs about what makes you special. Not just, okay, we're a manufacturing company, da 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 da. It could be something exciting about what you do, why you do what you do, and your vision. That alone will attract a high caliber of people to your job advert. Now, also, when you're publishing, it's very critical not to just have generic JDs. So now, when you using my previous example for a software development JD, AI could tell you that, oh, the person must know how to code in Python, the person must know Node.js, the person must be a front-end person, must do Vue, must do React, and you just copy it and you publish. With that kind of JD, you cannot attract the right set of people, right? Then the third point, which is still linked to the first, is about telling your story. You've stated what you actually want from the person. It's also time to state what you want to give the person. So every job description shouldn't be one-sided. It must show the 2 ends of it. So, and now it's very important to point out that I think it's time SMEs stop using "will pay competitive salary" or "will pay market rates." I don't think it's attractive enough, right? I think we should say things around benefits that we are offering. If we want to be specific or talk about salaries, you can actually state the exact salary you want to pay and now share the benefits. Okay, you can work hybrid, you can work remote, we offer leave, 30-day leave, we give these specs, and we offer so flexibility. If you're a working mother, these are things we can do for you to help you cope with family. So those are the interesting things that you could as well share that will entice the right set of people to your advert, right? Then finally, you should have a seamless recruitment process. So, sometimes we feel that when we have a long 10-step process, that it will help us to sieve the right set of people. But sometimes we don't have the brand to actually make those talents go through all those hurdles to get the kind of job or to get your job, right? So you have to strike a balance between, okay, how can I make this thing, how can I do this exercise in such a way that I can find the right people and at the same time I don't bore the right people. So those are the points I'll share for SMEs around attracting talent. So let's say that you've succeeded in attracting the right set of people. The next challenge will be retaining them, right? And this is where the wahala comes in for many SMEs. So you see someone starting work today and the person resigns in 2 months, in 4 months, you can't even tell, like, why are they leaving, right? So, and this is an area I've actually given time and I've actually studied, and I think the first thing to do here is to have a clear vision. Clarity, it starts with being clear with what you're doing as a company, and now what you want the person to do as well, and it also starts with the onboarding process. When someone comes in day one, what they are doing is that they are watching, they are just monitoring, what's this company about? Do they even understand what they're doing? Do they understand what I'm doing? So having clarity from the company perspective is also critical, right, in retaining top talent in the organization. That vision is number one. Then number two, do not be rigid. So we understand that we like structure. There's a place for structure in every organization because when you're structured, it helps business continuity. However, as an SME, we are competing with big brands, big names, and sometimes you may need to shift here and there to get what you want, right? So it's important to be flexible in our negotiations, in our approach, and in setting things, in dealing with our talents. So offer perks. These days, I feel that top talents actually care a lot. So about balance, about benefits, not just money.
Right. So I'm not saying that money is not important. Of course, money is always one of the major things talents consider in staying or living. But I think we should look beyond finance. What does this person need? What can I offer this person to make this person stay? So let me give you an example. You could have a top talent that is going for maybe a master's, a PhD program.
Okay.
And you could make it flexible for this person to actually work and finish the program, something the person may not be able to achieve in a more structured organization in quotes. Then it's also important for us to train. So this is a very tricky topic for most businesses. They say that, oh, I'll train you, you go. So now on the flip side, I have a friend that will also ask the question, what if you don't train this person and this person stays? The person will be a high quality person, right? So it's always better to train and risk the person going than not training because the person might go, right? So then there's one question I ask around retaining talent. And this question is a question that should be asked during the recruitment process, right? I always look for, as an SME, I always look for people that have grown something, no matter how little. Even if it's a garden at the back of your compound, there's something that you've grown. Maybe while in school, you've built a small group and you've been the leader of the group, or just something you've nurtured something, you know how to grow something from scratch. I think it's something very critical that we should look out for when it comes to also retention. Now, of course, we have a challenge with budget because the easiest thing to do sometimes is to engage a recruitment company, but sometimes it could be out of our budget. Maybe if they charge you 1 month gross salary, 10% of these. So I suggest that you could use job boards to advertise and still get good talents from the process. Now, one other important issue is performance. You know, it's always very tricky for SMEs, right? Because of the first issue I talked about, which is clarity. When someone gets started, the onboarding process should also have a clear performance metrics that will be shared as part of the onboarding, right? And also, I understand that as SMEs, sometimes we also want the people we hire to perform as well as we founders or CEOs. That's also very difficult sometimes. So we should have a very realistic expectation of those people, be clear of what we want from them, be clear of what they're delivering, understand what the core deliverables are, understand when you're sharing tasks that might impact on the core deliverable, and in all, make it very simple to measure. So I've seen a company trying to implement some performance systems, and they'll be like, oh, maybe I should go to KPMG, see what they are using, go to this bank, see what they are using. Those metrics and processes might not work for you. So just have something simple, something straightforward. It could just be something that I could easily track on an Excel sheet or a Google sheet that everyone is seeing per time. Or if you can afford it, you could just get a simple tool for tracking performance. So that's also an important area. Then compliance. So this is an area that people don't usually talk about. But when you enter into a problem, you see that it's a real issue, right? And this is always an issue because there's no dedicated HR person. We might not know so much about labor laws and so on. But I think it's an area that SMEs really need to look at to ensure they don't get into any problem in their business processes and all. So what I would recommend here is make sure you find someone that understands HR, right? Even if you don't have the person full-time on your payroll, the person could help you draft contracts, or take a second look at some of your contract documents to be sure that there are no gaps or no lapses or things that you're not doing right. When you can as well, you can hire someone, but for some of us getting started, we may not have the budget, depending on the size of the company, to hire a dedicated person, but just have a second eye in the HR space to ensure that you're not doing something that someone will sue you for tomorrow and win. Now, finally, it's very important to note that for every business to succeed, your people must succeed and will be happy. Right? If you have a team of disgruntled people that are not happy with you, with what you do and how you do it, it's very likely your business may suffer. Now, someone may even say that, oh, I can be brutal in business and still succeed. But now I look at it this way. What's even the core essence of business, right? To make money, to make your life better, and ultimately society better. So people is critical in every business. So I'll also be here to respond to questions around HR, because that's my core, and technology around business automation and other things. Thank you very much. I don't know if I exhausted or exceeded 10 minutes.
You did.
But that's
but that's fine. I just 2 minutes over 10 minutes.
okay, great.
All right, thank you very much. I really did enjoy your session, and I'm one of those big fans of the HR. You know, I believe it's a very important component when it comes to businesses, corporations, and all of that. The human factor, very important. Thank you very much, Okonkwo, for that one.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, now we're going to be moving on to our next speaker, who is going to be Jaja Victoria.
Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Look, I haven't shared it yet. So this is this. Okay, I hope you can see it now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So hello everyone. I am Victoria Jaja. I think we've done these introductions before, but just to retreat on my name. So I'm a brands and marketing person, and of course, I will tell you the importance of brands and marketing to small businesses. Without further ado, this is basically my agenda to tell you what branding is, what marketing is, importance of digital marketing, role of marketing in small business, and how to develop a strong brand. This is probably something most of us would know, but I hope that you could take out key points from here that would change your small business or the way you see things. So branding is not just a logo, it's more than that. It's how your customers perceive your business, and it's the emotional and psychological way they react to the relationship you create with them. It is very paramount that a small business establishes a strong brand, notwithstanding the fact that it's a small business, but it is still very possible to have a strong brand stand out in the marketplace, especially this marketplace where everything is really competitive. Why is this crucial for small business? It causes differentiation between them and their customers. It helps them stand out. So an example here is a coffee shop. Everybody has a coffee shop. Most people, you see, especially in Nigeria, you see free Wi-Fi. You see some people say we imported our beans from London. Some people say we are making it from scratch. We're doing it locally in Kano or something. These are things and minor things, a story behind it that differentiates that small business from the regular or the rest or a normal Radisson Blue that you can go and get your coffee. It builds trust and credibility. Creating a story outlines or separates you from your normal person. People will know that, oh, this person started from somewhere. There was an idea behind this, and this is why they are doing what they're doing. It also helps with retention and building of customer loyalty. It helps you get an audience attracted to you. It keeps your followers there. Moving on, the role of marketing in business. Marketing is somewhat different from branding. It is how you communicate your brand's value. That's having established who your brand is. So, okay, this is my coffee shop or this is my coffee brand and this is what I am doing. And then you now differentiate yourself by attracting, after differentiating yourself, you now communicate yourself by attracting your potential customers. It is the effort you do, is the effort you use, is the effort you use to retain your actual customers. It could be digital, it could be traditional, one-on-one, word of mouth, social media, or whatever means of communication. Having secluded yourself from the public. Why is this important? It helps a small business expand their customer reach. It drives sales revenue from what you can expect to something bigger. It helps you fit into your targets. It helps you fit into your targets and achieve it more, right? It helps with customer engagement. Once you engage with customers, I've realized in my so many years of business that customers like attention. If you don't know this, it quotes me anywhere. Customers like attention, not just customers, but people in general. They do love attention. When you pay attention to them as regards, oh, you're my customer, good morning, good night, happy this, happy that, they respect it and they like it. So regular engaging them, sending newsletters, new promotions, new things that you're doing with your business, Instagram, or even via their WhatsApp, they appreciate that. How is digital marketing important to small businesses? It is a cost-effective market solution. Don't get me twisted. There are various means of marketing. These days, we have all shied away from traditional because it's very expensive. I can tell you for free that the people who are putting billboards outside and banners are spending very good money. So it's not like it's not something a small business can try, but it's capital intensive if you're growing a brand. Hence the solution of digital marketing. Digital marketing is cost effective. You can use social media platforms, email marketing, every little thing at your beck and call. It's a data-driven solution in terms of you can monitor what you get. So for instance, if you check Instagram has insights which can help you check your traffic, who's coming, who's watching, these are which posts did they engage with more than, so you know how your customers react to your post and how they react to your how they react to your products and know their preference, right? Search engines optimization and social media. This is another form of indirect marketing in terms of sponsoring keywords. So things that people regularly search for. So you can sponsor like a short clause that says something like, oh, the best coffee in Nigeria. Sponsoring the best coffee in Nigeria. Somebody that is new and probably needs coffee or is a coffee enthusiast Google's where can I get the best coffee in Nigeria, and it gives you my company name, Javi Luxury, because I have done that search engine optimization on social media to attract customers to myself. Aside this, we also have word of mouth. Your friends and family are very important in this. You need them to tell somebody that, oh, I do this. You also need to tell them, I do this, and I need to tell somebody that I do it. And like you would remind your customers, you should also remind your family and friends to mention you and to always repost your stuff. Ongoing visibility, if you're sorry, if you have the opportunity to reach out to blogs, generate traffic, other websites, repost your stuff, this is continuous visibility. Like for instance, if you have an article on a Pulse newspaper or Nairametrics, as far as it's there and maybe you sponsored an SEO there, it doesn't go off. It's continuous visibility. The more somebody visits in Nairametrics and they're going through the whole page, your article or your advert would show up, based on what you have done. This quote is very important to me because it summarizes what I'm saying. It says your brand is the most, your brand is the single most important investment you can make in your business, because we need to know what you're doing because everybody's doing what you're doing. Like that is one thing that we notice, especially in this region of the world. Everybody's doing what you're doing. So what are you doing? So you have to invest in segregating yourself from the public. And it's something that people should actually take very important. I like the speaker ahead of me who also said, that's Ugugwa. I'm sure I murdered your name, but E for efforts. So I mean, I think I noted down what he said about small business need to work on branding 100%. 100%. They need to be able to segregate themselves. It is 100% right that a business would go and check, a prospective employee will go and check. I do it. If you send me a job requirement, or you send me, oh, we have seen your application and I'm interested, I'll go and check your social media. I want to see what your staff look like. I want to see the kind of quality of videos. Do I see myself in that kind of space? Am I above what this company is doing? If your social Try social media. Your social media is whack, I won't be there. I'm sorry. I will know that from your social media you can't pay me. If you write a competitive salary and so many other investments with a very giant job role, but your social media is looking like it is being managed, I don't want to mention anywhere, but it's being managed poorly, I would not really be interested. And I would know very well that if your social media can be like this, your salary is probably less than 100,000 naira. So I wouldn't even be interested in that job, just saying. How do you develop a strong marketing brand? So I have put here Hermes logo, right? So I'm sure if anyone should see this, they would know that this is Hermes because of the H. Once you see H, you know nobody's dragging with them because they have put a lot of work. And something you need to understand about brands and marketing is the fact that it is the foundation. It's something that you have to continuously do and something that you do. You might not always see the results, might I mention, immediately, but it's something that due to consistency, it would, show you the difference and it will show you the impact. Oh, I saw your advert here. Oh, I didn't want to handle this business. I saw this. Oh, someone told me about it. I didn't even know it was you. It's nice. You have to carry your business, be your brand every day. Carry your business on your head. Right? These are three key steps I have analyzed. This is not the only steps, might I add, but these are key three steps I have analyzed that is important in this field. The first thing is to define your unique selling position. You have to answer the question, why? Why on earth should you buy from me? Are you the only person selling coffee? Are you the only person selling hair? Why is your own different? Why should we buy from you? Right? What makes your business different? Are you affordable? Are you really affordable? Do you import? Do you make it locally? Do you want to promote Nigeria? Do you not want to promote Nigeria? Are you doing for small? Are you attending to the middle class? Are you doing luxury? Or what exactly? And why should we buy from you? You have to be able to understand that question and start it before you move forward. Not just, oh, I want to do this business because everybody's doing it and it's moving, it's bringing profits. You have to be able to segregate yourself from the public. You have to build a consistent brand image, right? If you wake up today and you say, okay, I want to start a business in maybe lip gloss, right? So I'm going to use a random lip gloss I have here. So this is lip gloss I have on my table. This lip gloss is, I think it's made in the US, yes, and this is their branding. If you see it anywhere, you would know. Now I have raised it in this YouTube unpaid ad that I've done for them. If you see this lip gloss, you will know because their font is very big, their colors are very distinct, and this is their packaging. You would know it and to be distinct, and the tone of their messaging is different. They will put something, the name here very big, the flavor here, and other stuff at the back. You have to be consistent because this builds recognition. Now that I've randomly done this, everybody here on this platform who has paid attention to this presentation would see and know this. Oh, this thing this lady talked about on her presentation just because of its significance. But in the case where they decide to use a glass bottle, in the case where they decide, okay, I randomly have another lip gloss. In the case where they decide that, oh, I want to change to this one, it won't fly. This is the dual lip gloss. And then this is their packaging, although they have a lot of dupes now, but everyone knows that this is where it started, right? So if this one decides to move to this version, they change and customers can no longer associate themselves with it, right? This is affordable in comparison to this. So they can no longer easily associate themselves with this. So building a consistent brand image helps you with brand recognition and trust. You also have to, lastly, leverage social media, digital marketing tools. That is what small businesses have on their platform. This is tools like Instagram, Facebook, be everywhere, be TikTok. Like carry your business on your head, right? You have the opportunity to do what you want to do when you want to do on every platform. Nobody is giving you time, although there are specific times that you should, probably post it. But nobody is restricting you. Nobody is telling you not to post 20 times. Nobody is telling you not to post 30 times. This social media platform thrive from consistency. Sponsor your post, push it, repost it. Right? They even help you, like your For You page. The more you post, the more you use the hashtags, you show up on people's timeline, you get your customers organically, even without reposting them. Use tools like Google Analytics, social media insights, and tracking tools to measure your marketing efforts. You know how to see, oh, this is working, this is not working, and this is how I progress. So I hope I haven't been too fast because I know I talk fast a bit, but I have come to the end of my presentation. I hope I was within the time. Thank you very much, guys,
Thank
for your
you.
time. If you want more information, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to share this information. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
All
Stop
right.
sharing.
Thank you very much, Victoria, for that one. That really, well, a little bit over the time, but still, that was a very, very beautiful
I'm sorry.
one.
I really tried to wrap there.
I know, I totally understand. I totally understand. I mean, it's a lot packed in a very few minutes. So I totally understand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that one. That was a very beautiful session. And as it is, I feel like, you know, I can brand myself and sell myself.
You really can. Trust me, you can.
All right.
You can.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. So we have our next speaker right here. I'm hoping that you're jotting things down. And of course, if you have any questions, you can put it right there in the YouTube live chat. And I'll be looking at them and, of course, asking our speakers. Now, for our very next speaker, we have Adeshino Adewumi. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All
Even though
right.
it seems like
Good
I'm
morning.
the only one not doing the presentation, I'm just going to speak to the audience.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to be coming from a cash flow management perspective. You know, as a small business owner or maybe an individual who wants to be able to manage their personal finance, it's very essential that you pay attention to your cash flow. Paying attention to your cash flow will determine whether or not you're going to still remain in business. For context, the first step in ensuring that you have an effective cash flow management system is actually ensuring that you have a strong system around planning. One of the key things that separates big companies is they leverage a lot on cash flow planning to be able to ensure that they're able to meet their obligations. Most oftentimes, what kills businesses is the fact that yes, you're doing amazingly well. Maybe you're making sales in millions, either in naira or in dollars. But when it comes to you meeting your obligation, your inability to meet your obligation at that time would do a lot of strategic damage to your business, either in terms of integrity, either in terms of if it's in terms of internal staff. You're talking about not being able to meet up with salaries, and that also makes your employees to begin to feel like they are not safe working with you. So being able to manage and plan ahead so that you can be able to have an effective cash flow to meet your obligations is a very crucial part on you being able to continue to remain in business and continue to attract the right resources. Now, by resources, I'm talking about people, I'm talking about partners, I'm talking about vendors, and I'm also talking about even financiers who can also support your business. Because, for example, if a financier is giving you maybe 1 million naira, let's just use that as an example, and you are supposed to pay back that 1 million, maybe 200K out of that 1 million is to be paid on the 15th. If you make a reckless decision on the 10th of that month, by putting in that money in a long-term effort rather than a short-term effort that can return back that money by the 15th, by 15th, you won't be able to meet the obligation that is required for the financier. And that doesn't really mean that you don't have money, right? You have actually kept in that or allocated that funds, to long-term efforts, which maybe would come back on the 20th. But the financier has just lost trust or, doesn't believe in your capacity to meet your obligations as at when due. This also applies to your internal stakeholders like your employees, like I stated earlier. But the other part of it is you as a business owner, you must also learn to pay yourself. This is something that small business owners believe is not really important, but the fact that for you to be able to effectively plan, for you to be able to effectively grow that business, you need to be able to separate your own personal finance from the business finance. One of the key things for small business owners, and the reason why they should actually pay themselves, is it helps you to also remove yourself from the business. So a small business owner starts out with maybe 1,000 naira or 1 million naira, starts growing the business, is generating maybe 500K. If you don't pay yourself, you'll most likely be taking or allocating your personal expenses as the company's expenses. Thereby, you are not able to separate from what you make versus what the business makes. Most likely, the business will be generating negative month on month. And for financiers, nobody wants to be able to work with someone who is not able to separate their personal expenses from their business expenses. It has to be that clear differentiation. So cash flow management is very essential, it's very key. But again, the last thing I'm going to be touching on is how do you then track? What KPIs will you be able to track? Which will also then help you after managing your cash flow effectively to be able to attract the right partners to also support your business. Because as a business owner or as a business leader or a CEO or an entrepreneur, you only have two responsibilities. One is to attract the right resources, and two is to keep those people or the resources happy so that you can continue to attract the right resources. So what KPIs can you really use to be able to, continue to maintain a smooth cash flow system? I think first thing first is for you to be able to leverage technology to help you to be able to have an effective accountability system, whether you're using QuickBooks, whether you're using custom-made softwares. You need to be able to track. It helps you to be able to track. There's very little that you can remember by writing down and the rest. But again, if you feel you can't, afford that right now, maybe perhaps you can use basic Excel to be able to track, and monitor all your cash flows so that you can then translate into a strong system that you can show to every financier. The second is actually around planning, which is knowing exactly where you want to reach. So if, for example, you want to get to 2 million within 30 days, or you want to get to 10 million within 30 days, you need to put that into, a system whereby you can track to say, okay, where am I at the middle of the month? Where am I in the first day? Or where am I in the first week? Because if you take care of the days would help you to take care of the weeks, and the weeks will help you to take care of the month. So I'm going to stop there, but putting those things into black and white, or putting your goals, into black and white, will help you to be able to effectively manage your cash flow, attract the right resources, attract the right financiers, and then help you to continue to build an healthy system. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that one. That was a very beautiful one, and of course a very short one as well. Appreciate that. And now we're going to be moving on to our next speaker, Zubairu Kadiri. Are you ready for us?
Sorry, yes, I am. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Sorry, I dropped my speaker. Hi, good day, everyone. My name is Zubairu Kadiri, like I was introduced. Not to take too much time, I'm just going to go ahead and share my presentation and take it from there. My background is I'm a business re-engineer, so I do majorly business process and systems automation. That was in my former career life before I went back to wealth management, which is what I do now. So just going to share a very short slide it's a one-page slide I actually have, and it's focused on how bulletproof is your business model. So this is everything I want to talk about, and I want to talk about a topic that a lot of business people run away from, but if you understand how it works, it's a very great thing to help you audit your business every time. It is the SWOT analysis. So I just want to encourage people to appraise their SWOT analysis. Now, business management is all about tracking and managing all the activities around ensuring that a business grows and continues to thrive.
One key area around that business is the microeconomic factors and the macroeconomic factors, and I like to differentiate that. Around business model, the microeconomic factors are those things that are within your control, e.g., the product you create. How do you create a solution that the market will like? What is that product for? What does it solve? How exciting is the product and all that? Those are typically the product things you have control of. But the macroeconomic factors are those things you do not have control of in your business model that you have to pay attention to, because, like I would say, your product has to exist on a platform for it to thrive, and those macroeconomic factors are is the platform upon which your product has to thrive. Now, there are three major things you have to understand about your macroeconomic factors that if you don't understand, no matter how great your product is, it will not have a platform to thrive on, which is one. There is what we call the rules around policy and laws, which is every economic space has government rules governing it. How do you operate in that space? Is your business ethical, which means is your business within the ambit of the law and policies that are allowed in that space? Then we have the rules around money, finance. These are the rules around cash flow, rules around what is the money system in that place? What are the policies around things like credit, transaction history, ease of doing business in terms of buying, selling, currency exchange, and all that. And then the final one is what we call rules around processes, which is the window of opportunity that exists within a space for you to build a business and thrive. So this is the macroeconomic factors that I want to highlight. Why I'm highlighting that is because when you analyze your SWOT focuses on how you harness these two parts to ensure that you build a sustainable business. Now, SWOT is simply an acronym for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Everybody knows that, right? But this is the simple way I want to just explain it. In strength, first and foremost, your strength focuses on your microeconomic factors, the things you have control of. And one of the biggest things you have control of in your business is your competitive advantage. In business modeling, we call it your magic. We ask you, what's your magic? What is that one thing that when you do, everybody goes, wow. Everybody goes excited. What is the wow in your business? That's your magic. Now, what is your strength? Your strength shows where you are better than any other competition when it comes to that service delivery to a target market. So if you do feel you come into a market with a product called Indomie noodles in a market where spaghetti already existed, what was their wow coming in? Their wow was the phrase 2 minutes instant. That was their magic, because they were in a space that spaghetti had already existed forever. How did they differentiate themselves? What was the competitive advantage they had? They had the 2 minutes instant sales pitch. So it was faster and easier. That's how they got in. So your strength is always where you are better than the competition. It shows where you have strength. How do you communicate that to your market? Whereas your weakness is where the market already shows strength and you have a gap to catch up on. So weakness is also a factor that you have control of, because it is how does my product communicate a stronger competitive advantage to the market. So if you look at what I wrote there, it says your weakness shows where the competition is better than you. It shows where there is a gap, where you need to build strength. So if you are a business that your transaction cycle currently, the transaction cycle for turnaround, your buyer's journey is, say, 3 hours. A business that can do it in 1 hour obviously has strength from you. So you have a 2-hour gap in the transaction cycle. It is available to your client. Now, always remember this. Every business is an option to a potential client. The goal as a business is to move from being being an option to become the preferred. To become the preferred, you must have a competitive advantage, or what we call a magic. That magic is why the client prefers you. Now, in your weakness simply highlights those places where your competition is offering a magic that is more compelling to your client than you. So when you're doing a SWOT analysis for your business, you want to focus on where you are better and where you can be better, because these are the two driving factors that determine how the market perceives you. And this is the area of the business you have control of, which is the strength and weakness. However, in the macroeconomic factor side of the business, when you're looking at things like government policies, rule around your business, those things you don't have control of will now determine your opportunity and your threats. I'll give you a classic example. If you come into a space where, let's say the fashion space, and there is a government policy that there should be no mass importation of foreign clothing in terms of finished clothes, apparels, automatically, if you want to build a large-scale ethical business in that jurisdiction, you already have a challenge because you cannot import. The only way you can achieve that target is to produce locally. So the thing with opportunity and threat is that it focuses on your differentiation quotient, whilst strength and weakness focuses on your beta quotient. So because beta is a function of something you can control, while different is a function of how do I stand out from that which I don't have control of, but I can take advantage of and create something that lasts. So here you see what we captured. It says opportunity shows how we can be different because the competition hasn't identified or harnessed it. How can you be different from the client? So if you look at the payment solution market today, there was a time where using the POS was a nightmare for a lot of businesses because they needed 24 hours to get those funds reflected and confirmed in their account. And then new digital payment solutions came into the business today that you get instant confirmation. You almost will not walk into a merchant's place today and not find an OPay POS because OPay understood, one, the rules around NIPS, which is the Nigeria Interbank Exchange platform, for transfer of funds. They found a way to differentiate themselves from what the market was used to, which was waiting for 24 hours to see a credit or a notice to confirm a payment. They found an instant way to do that, and that is where their differentiation came. So now, your opportunity is the place where the market wants strength, and you are able to use your mechanism to maximize it. So the question is in your business right now, where do you see a differentiation that you can take advantage of, and you can put yourself in the front of the model, in the front of the market, which is your target audience or your target customers, and ensure that that differentiation is your selling advantage. When DoFeed was coming to Nigeria, that was the advantage they found. 2 minutes instant was the way they got in front of the spaghetti market, which was already a large market, highly consumed, but they came in and today they become a household brand by that differentiation to the point where they've created an industry now for quick meals. Whereas threat is the opposite of that. Threat shows where the competition is different in preference to you. Where is the competition ahead of you? Utilizing the macroeconomic factors around policy. How has the competition been able to build a business around policy, around money, and then the processes, window of opportunity? I just use OPay. OPay maximized the fact that they were able to give real-time confirmations on transactions on their POS, and they swooped in and took over the POS market in a flash. Today, they have a valuation that is amazing. No digital finance company has achieved that in the history of Nigeria. In a country where the macroeconomic factors they didn't have control of, but they found a way to create their differentiation so that now they put the other brands under threat, and every brand now has had to rise to the occasion to beat that. This is a summary of my presentation. If you are a business out there, you need to constantly do a SWOT analysis to know where are your strengths, where are you better than the competition, reinforce that. What are your weaknesses? Where is the competition better than you? You need to measure that gap and look for ways to ensure that your competitive advantage can close that gap so you can stay relevant. However, in the area of opportunity and threat around macroeconomic factors like policies, government laws, finances, and of course processes, how are you the differentiation? How are you moving from being just an option to the preferred? What are you doing within the ambits of what that system can provide for you to deliver? There's a concept, for example, that is common in Nigeria today that's not common abroad. We call it payment on delivery. That's a system you hardly will find in other markets. But someone figured that in this market, because we have a large debt in trust when it comes to transaction, somebody decided to take the risk and bring that differentiation into their business model. And today, we see it as a thriving model, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. But if you go to most developed economies, that model does not operate. There's nothing like pay on delivery. But someone has found a differentiation that has worked in this market. That's my point. What are you doing, especially in this climate that the dynamics of doing business is very interesting? What are you doing to maximize your opportunity? And what are you doing to reduce your threat to ensure that your business can continue to survive and even thrive in the space? Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, thank you very much for that one, Zuberi Kadiri. Really appreciate it. And it's good to know that sometimes your weaknesses are not necessarily your weaknesses. That's a good one to know. All right, thank you very much. And now we're going to be moving to our next speaker, who is Olami Dotun Votu Obada. You ready for us?
Yes, I am. Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, good.
Okay, first I want to say thank you so much to everybody for speaking. I feel like I don't need to do anything anymore because I've just been listening to everybody and learning so much. Yeah, I have slides and I'm basically going to be speaking from my heart. I think that's probably the best way to do this. So is it okay if I share my slides? Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can share your slides.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. 1 second. Don't start counting the time yet, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I start now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. Okay. So I would say that the reason why I'm speaking from my heart is because, when you've started several, companies, you've had that experience. I say that it goes from theory when it comes to finance. It goes from theory because you understand that you've seen it in many places, and I absolutely recognize that for everybody that is here. You've seen it in many places, and so for you, it becomes a thing of what is practical, right? And that's where I'm speaking from, honestly. I'm speaking from that place. I when I posted about this event, I cracked a joke on my LinkedIn. I said finance is something that is literally never left me. I remember a few years ago, I was doing an MSc in finance in Imperial College. And I walked away from that MSc in finance, thinking to myself, I will never need to deal with finance again. But guess what? I have dealt with it in my journey, whether it's in immigration or even now that I write children's books. Businesses I started have now moved on, and I'm not necessarily a part of the everyday, but I'm just sharing tips that relate to things that I have learned. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I think the first thing for me is you got to separate it. You have to separate business finance, and somebody said that earlier on, business finance and personal finance from day one. Even if your business started yesterday, you have to separate it. You can't be mixing the two together simply because, somebody here spoke about branding. And the truth is, when it comes to branding, imagine starting a business, example, a catering business or a branding business, and a client is asking you for your bank account and you are sending them your name. First of all, that opens up doors for them to start to negotiate with you because they know that you don't have structure. I remember when I started my immigration consulting business, and they were I think there was only 1 or 2 of us. And I would say to a client, I will tell finance to send it to you. And I was the finance because I understood that I had to send that invoice to that client in a professional manner. It was no longer me that was it was not me sending my name and my account details to the client. And so perception is everything for clients. When you separate it, you create the power to charge more, the power for clients to trust you, the power for clients to be able to say, look, this person knows what they're doing, and I think that I can trust them. Also, it allows you to be accountable. Somebody here mentioned pay yourself. Yes, I would say that every business I've started, I pay myself. I put it because if, for instance, the business is, I would say, if the business is making example 1 million naira on a particular thing, and then you're telling yourself, oh, I'm just going to take 500,000 for myself, it doesn't work, because you can't actually account for how much revenue it's costing you or how much your cost is. So I would say set a limit. Example, everything I make, 20% goes to me, 10% goes to me. That way you're able to put the same money back into the business, and when it comes back into your finances, it becomes easy. People that want to invest in your business can see that you separated from the beginning, right? So this is just key pointers. Next thing I would say is you have to be accountable to yourself and be accountable to the business. And I think that really sheds from that 1 million idea. I said the business is making 1 million from a particular project that you've made. And then you say to yourself, I'm going to dip in and take 500,000. You're shooting yourself in the foot in the first place, because if you take that 500,000, you no longer have you've taken 50%. Let's say the cost of doing that particular deal was 60%. That means you're now short by 10%. So you're not being accountable to yourself and to the business. And guess what? Eventually, in the long run, that business will not outlive you. And I say the success of any entrepreneur is not just to be, we go from being a business founder or business owner to becoming a business, to becoming the founder, and then becoming an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody that the business moves on from you. You're able to create wealth. And so if you think to yourself, accountability, I have to be accountable to this business, I have to, separate myself from the business, you're able to know, okay, look, if I take 20% today, eventually this business will pay me 40%. And you can begin to pay yourself in increments, right? So I would say be accountable to yourself. Now, this is something I learned very, very, very early. I would say I probably learned it the hard way, probably my 4th year in doing business. And it was, if you cannot pay for it, don't do it. Don't even bother. Because in this world, people will tell you, oh, you know what, you can fake it till you make it, you can strategize, oh, you know what, go and pay for that advert. Trust me, if you cannot pay for it, don't do it, because you're literally building and starting a business in debt. So what you want to be able to do is, and this was even something I was talking to my finance in the office yesterday about, I said, if you want to take a risk, make sure that risk can pay for itself. So don't go dipping into money that the company has saved because you're taking a risk. Take calculated risk. So you have to ask yourself, what is my risk threshold? Okay, we want to make this investment. Am I willing to lose this? Example, 100,000. If I do 100,000 in this business, if I lose it, am I happy to walk away? That is what they call calculated risk. Yes, take risk, but if you cannot pay for it, don't bother doing it. And I'm very mindful of time. Don't be scared to start at the bottom. This is people and us entrepreneurs, a lot of us on this panel probably say this. Sometimes you create something and then you're like, look, I don't want to go and start again. Or you're thinking to yourself, okay, you know what, I failed at something. Yes, you failed. Start from the bottom. Keep reinventing yourself. When it comes to business finance and personal finance, you got to be able to say, look, where am I at this point? Is it time for me to diversify this product? Is it time for me to maybe, even if I'm recreating a new product or trying out something new, should I start from the bottom? Do I start from, example, some people might be here and maybe transitioning from paid employment into job. Start from where you are. Maybe you've been a brand consultant for years in the job that you are, and now start from where you are. Start with family and friends to begin to build that finance, and before you know it, you will be an authority in that field. Use what you have. I feel like I just spoke about that. When you're doing business finance and personal finance, somebody said it here, use what you have. Don't automatically go and pay for software. Use Excel. Just be accountable. In fact, I have somebody that's very close to me. He's very good with writing things down. He has a notebook that he takes about with him because he wants to be accountable with figures that he's thinking about. And then from time to time, he would sit down and begin to say, okay, how can I take these figures and put it and give it to my accountant to make sure that the figures make sense? You have to use what you have. That's very minimal, but if Excel is what you have, use what you have. And over time, as you grow, the business will begin to grow. You begin to grow out of using a book, or even if you want to keep using Excel. For me, for instance, I crack a joke with my accountant. I say, no matter how the software you use, Excel is what I understand. Can you give me Excel so I can understand it? That is my language, right? So you got to use what you have, right? Now, always think futuristic. Use technology. think evolving. You have to, when it comes to business finance, personal finance, like I said, go use what you have, start with Excel, use technology, but also be evolving in your thoughts. Today, I mean, you have a lot of businesses that you can't even see them physically. In fact, yesterday, part of the meeting that we're doing, the immigration consultancy that I started, we've literally evolved from physical work space to now everybody is remote. And that is interesting. Even the clients that we're working with in different parts of the world, they're paying us in different currencies, but that is because you're able to employ the tool of technology, and we're thinking of evolving. You can't just say, well, this is how they've been doing it in this day and age. If you want to grow the business and you want to grow your finances, you have to be evolving and thinking and using technology. Your hands are not empty. This is something I learned from the pandemic, because in Nigeria, in a Nigeria climate, for instance, you're going through, exchange rate is high, everything is, and this is something I've been saying to recently. My hands are not empty. As a business person, as I become an authority, what can I do to earn a living outside of the business? What can we do to use the tools that we have? How can we diversify this product? How can we be creative? You have to understand this. It's a principle. I say to everybody, your hands are not empty. Be creative and use what you have. And guess what? Whatever you create, somebody's going to be in high demand for that particular thing. Start building and keep building, stay innovative. I've said this over and over again. I'm so mindful of time. It is the key. This one slide is the key to personal finance, business finance. Start building, keep building, and stay innovative. Whether it's your technology, whether it's the tools that you use, you just have to keep moving. And I think that's it, really. I mean, if you've enjoyed listening, I'm just going to leave my LinkedIn here, my Instagram. And for those that might want to keep in touch, I say to people, I send out a newsletter just based on the things that I do or I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to leave a link for the newsletter, and yeah, you can scan that. And this is all the information you need about me. Thank you very much, everybody. And that was it, 9 minutes. Thank you.
All right, that was very great. That was good. Thank you for keeping to time. I love that. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to our last but not the least speaker, and I'm hoping that he is here yet. He's here already. Esther, is he here? Abraham, great. You with us? Okay, so Abraham Grade is still not here, but well, I have follow-up questions for our speakers, and I'm going to start with Jaja Victoria, and this is because we're talking about branding and investing in your business, right, or marketing your business. And if you look at branding, you realize that that's one of the first steps to take when starting a business. Now, my question is, when balancing investment in branding, how long is it sustainable for SMEs, especially those just starting? I'm talking about putting in everything into your branding. How long is it sustainable for? Especially if you see these SMEs that are just starting out and they don't have the wherewithal to fund these branding processes. How exactly can they go about that?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. And I'm going to say it's very simple. I'm saying it's very simple because everything is planning. Everything has a process, right? So you know that deep in your heart, you want to start a business. I want to start a business of lip gloss production. You have Googled your ingredients, you have spoken to your printers, you have gotten the people to produce the bottles, and it's time for you to start planning. A step-by-step plan on what do I like, what do I want this thing to look like, what would be my target market, who do I want to get my products, who do I want to reach, and where can I reach them? There has to be a proper planning. These things are easy these days. You can speak to a consultant, you can do it yourself based on what you want. You can speak to a couple of friends and market around it. And it's simple because I said it's simple because you just have to have a plan. So for instance, I'm going to just use the random amount. Let's use like a 200,000 naira. You want to use the 200,000 naira to start your business, and production alone takes you about 50,000 naira. I'm sorry, 150,000 naira, right? And you have like a 50,000 naira left, and you want to sponsor your business. It's very visible. You sponsor your business, you can put you run an ad maybe on Facebook or Instagram for like 3 weeks, sorry, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just push your business, just focusing on maybe getting returns as per people to message you or profile views so that people view your profile. There has to be a specific like reason for doing what you're doing, right? So if you're looking at, oh, I want to make sales, you have to outline your adverts to make sales. If you're looking for profile views, you have to outline your adverts for profile views. So it just depends on you and what exactly you're trying to achieve. So I think that answers the question.
All right, thank you very, very much for that one. Yes, it does answer the question. Now we're going to be moving on to another step I feel like should be one of the next steps when you're starting a business or when you're trying to manage your business. That's apart from branding, that is personal investment or personal finance. And this question is going to be directed at Adesina Adeomi. Now, there's this temptation of wanting to invest your personal money. I'm starting a business and I'm looking at, wow, this business is going to grow. I'm seeing the potential of it. And I know that I have savings for myself. How exactly can I balance out using my personal money to invest in my business? How can I balance that out?
Thank you very much for that question. The truth is that you have to use your personal money to start the business. However, you need to be able to, treat that personal money as though you are actually investing in another person entirely. In that sense, the same way, if you were giving, maybe Mr. B money, and you expect maybe a 30% returns, that's the same way you're going to be, classifying that money that you're actually taking from yourself to put in that business, because that would help you also to be accountable and also have, a fixed goal in terms of actually ensuring that that money comes back or multiply in your hands. Because again, nobody wants to give you money if you have also not shown that you have the ability to also put in your money. But I also understand this terrain, right, where it's quite hard, to even have savings. How many people have savings to even start in the first place, right? So most people, have to scramble, maybe try to reach out to other people. But if you have savings that you can put aside into that business, I think you are already among the 1%, who are actually standing out, within this society. For me, the next step is, because again, how far can your savings take you? The next step is to start, attracting the right financiers. It can be banks. If you do everything that we have talked about today, by putting structures, by putting systems, by checking your strengths and your weakness, by leveraging accountability, you would be able to easily attract the right financiers in terms of banks, whether it's debt, whether it's equity investment or grant, that will help you. And one of the other things that at the end of the day, most of these people look at, just as my other panel speakers have mentioned, is brand. Even if somebody wants to give you a grant, they will go and check your social media handles. So you need to be visible. You need to be able to attract attention. They will go and check, what are the reviews? What are your processes? What are the structures and systems you put in place? So from day one, you need to pay attention to that, and you need to be able to then classify that money as though that money wasn't from you, but it was from an external party, and you need to return back that money. When the business is now at that stage where it can return back that money, they can then pay you back that money, whether it's with interest, whether it's just the way it is. But if it's going to be with interest, please make sure you document that you actually gave that money to the business, put it in black and white, because that business can grow to become $1 million company, and you removing that money that you initially injected into that business can become something that somebody can call financial, misappropriation in the future. So you don't want to be in that position whereby you are kicked out of your business just simply because you imputed or you injected, funds from your own personal capacity, and then later on, someone is kicking you off. Another thing you can do is to maybe perhaps use that funds as you buying shares in the company, which I think is just ID too. So you're not looking to remove back the money. You can use that funds and say, okay, see, what is the current value of my company? I want to be able to allocate 1 million to buy up XYZ, 80% of the company or something like that. And then it's documented in black and white. The company also issues you receipts that you actually did inject 800,000 into the business as at this value and XYZ. I can tell you that if you do this, other people would also come and join you to help you grow that business. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that particular one. And I totally understand differentiating your personal finance from your finance when it comes to your business. And one thing I've come to notice that people in organizations do as well is that they keep receipts. So if they use let's say an e-hailing app and they want to be refunded, they have the receipts that they keep. I'm guessing that's one of the things that you're talking about as well. Thank you very much for that one, Mr. Adesina. And my question again too, this time around is going to be directed at Zubairu Kadiri. And this question is from YouTube. We have someone here that's asking, Sophia Isaac asking, why apparel is the threat globally and why should it be manufactured locally?
Okay, so first things you want to know as a business person is never bet against the government, which means if the government has a policy about any item, you have to understand that for your business to be ethical, you operate within the rules and the confines of that environment. That environment enjoys a sovereignty that you do not have control of. In trading, in my background in trading, when I used to trade actively, there's one of the first rules they teach us is never bet against the market. And the worst market to ever bet against is the government. Now, if you operate in a jurisdiction and the jurisdiction there says, oh, we do not favor you to do X, e.g., do not bring imported goods of something. I mean, if you're familiar with Nigerian history, brands like Woolworth was doing very well until that policy was changed and they had to ship out of Nigeria because the way their business operated, their manufacturing was happening mostly in South Africa and they were bringing it to Nigeria. When that policy changed, they had to move. One policy, for example, took out a brand like Gokada, a $500 million valuation business. Just one policy and the business was gone. So the truth is, in a jurisdiction where the government has their rules, the answer to that question lies with the government, the macroeconomic factors that make them decide that it is better that they want to encourage local production, may be the issue. I do not know why that policy exists, but technically it has helped and driven local production, which I believe is the agenda the government wants to achieve. And it is helping local brands today. If you look at the current situation with FX, a lot of businesses have now looked inwardly and have driven themselves to find ways to navigate those costs. So it has its pros, it has its cons. I cannot answer for the government, but I can tell you that if you want to succeed as a business, you have to look for the place the market wants strength. So the market wants certain apparel, right? And the easier option is to import it. But now, policy against importation of something like that puts you in a place where ethically you cannot deliver on it. Smart thing to do is to look for local ways to achieve it. Now, local means you may not get it at the volume and the quality or in the timeline you want, but there is a big secret to this thing. When the preferred is not available, the available becomes the preferred. The market always adjusts this to what is available, ultimately.
True.
So you want to ride the current and maximize it with the market. That's the best way I can respond to it, and I hope I responded effectively to the question. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for that one. And I'm hoping that Sophia Isaac is good with that answer. And now we're going to be moving to human resource, Ogogwa. Now, you mentioned something about not being rigid. And I know that when you're starting an organization, it's good to have your values. How exactly can you balance that out? Not being rigid and having your own values when it comes to business.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So basically, when I talked about being flexible, I wasn't referring to values. When it comes to your values, I think you should be rigid about values, right? So let me give a typical example. If in your organization you don't tolerate theft, for instance, then someone comes, even if the person is your best talent, steals something in the office, then the entire weight of the law should actually take place, right? So that's just an extreme example. Like if you want a disciplined workforce, then by all means, if that's the value you want to entrench, then you should take it seriously at all times. So, but when I talked about flexibility, I'm talking about having maybe flexible office policies, right? And making some exceptions that won't go against the core office values. So let me give you an example. Like I used maybe having someone running a program, right? In school, for instance, you could have a flexible policy for people that are studying that will negatively impact on the business. You could have a flexible policy for people that might be pregnant. You might have a flexible policy for people that are nursing mothers. Okay, how can these are people that may have contributed to your work in no small measure, and they're at a place where they need all the support they can get. You could have a flexible policy around them. You could be flexible around things like that. Maybe healthcare, how do you support them when they are not feeling well? In addition to having a good a healthcare plan, insurance plan, if you can afford it, you could have a system whereby when someone is not feeling well, the person can take off days, right? And stuffs like that. So when I was talking about flexibility, it's about those little things that show that we care. Those little things that show that we are compassionate and we care about our people without negatively impacting on your business. So if it's something that has to do with values, oh no, someone being rude, someone not taking the work seriously, then by all means, you have to be rigid around those things.
All right. Thank you very much for that one. Thank you very much for that one, Ogugua. And last but not the least, I'm going to go to Olami Dotun. I'm trying as much as possible not to destroy that name. Olami Dotun Votu Obada. Now, you did mention about using what you have when it comes to business. But how exactly can you create a sustainable budget, that balances both business operational needs and personal finance goals, especially when you're just starting out? How can you create that sustainable balance between both of them?
I think if you're going to speak in terms of when you're starting out or even as you progress, what I would say is, and like I said, start using what you have. I remember when I started Philly, and it's so funny because I transitioned from a full-time job to then moving on to become an entrepreneur. And it's something that I always thought, oh, I would rise to the highest level of my career. There won't be a need to obviously do entrepreneurship. But what I realized is you have to first of all think to yourself, I'm no longer in that job. Where am I right now? What are the resources that I need to carry on or to run this business, right? Obviously, you can't be earning, especially when you're starting at the bottom, you can't be earning or you can't be paying yourself. Example, let's say what you were earning in your job was 1 million naira and now you're starting this business. You can't set that high expectation for that business right now. I remember when most people, they say if you want to move into entrepreneurship, do that business with your job if you can, depending on the rules. Based on what Google will say, depending on the rules of your employer, until when you know that this business needs me full time. So I remember I had gotten to the point where I thought, okay, look, this business, I started creating clients, 1 client, 2 clients. And because you're building on excellence, obviously you're building on excellence, you're building on client referrals, you're hoping that somebody will refer you, somebody's going to keep mentioning your name in the room. It's not about then you want to go and do a billboard. So for instance, if what you have is being able to do flyers and give it to specific people or people where your clients will be, then do that, because you can't pay for that billboard. So you're starting and you're using what you have. Somebody mentioned here branding, social media. I mean, I said to people, you can do social media with as much as $5 or, I mean, $2 a day. It's all about what is your budget. $2 a day is 1,500 naira a day or 1,000 naira a day. You can go as little, or if you say, I'm going to spend $5, which is what, 2.5, or I mean, I'm saying dollars because that's what Meta will charge you, right? So you're saying, this is my budget, this is what I'm going to spend in a week. You're using what you have to get to where you're going. You're not trying to compete with Coca-Cola, who has a billboard on Lekki Ekpe Expressway, because you can't pay for that. I don't know what you mean. You know, and then you can also work with collaborations, right? You look at somebody that is in the same space, or maybe you're doing, somebody mentioned a coffee business and now you started baking banana loaf or something. You can say, can I put my banana loaf in your coffee business? Those are collaborations, and that is using what you have to get what you want to get by. But in terms of separating your personal finance from the business, you first have to set an expectation for yourself. I'm no longer any 1 millionaire where I'm coming from. And so now, how much can I earn to get by? I need to pay for my data. I need to pay for it. I need to have a laptop. I need to pay for, okay, I can work from home, so I don't need to pay for transportation for myself. That reduces your costs and your, in terms of personally, and then you ask yourself, how much can this business pay me so I can sustain myself, right? Then obviously, as you grow, your needs will be different. Okay, now we can afford to maybe put our advert in BusinessDay. Great. BusinessDay is not as expensive as going to go and put it on Lekki Ekpe Expressway. You know what I mean? You're growing and you're progressing. Or I can afford to become a contributor in BusinessDay. That's less, and you're forming yourself as an authority in the field, as opposed to trying to do something that is outrageous. You're using what you have, which is the platforms. You're building a name for yourself, and then you're also recognizing that this is where I am. I can build a brand, I can build a business, and I can build my career. When you do both, before you know it, people will be paying you as an authority to do the work, and people will also be paying your brand for the work that you do. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much for that one. And I really do appreciate it. Now, I would like my speakers to, wrap up, just giving a sentence, 1 minute advice to SME owners, SME startups, SMEs, especially those people that are thriving in this economy, or people that are struggling in this economy. Or just give us one word of advice that you'd give, as well as how you can be contacted. Say, I'm a startup and I would like to, contact you for consultation or to ask you questions about your journey and how exactly you've been able to stay afloat and be good as you are right now. Just give us a way you can be reached. Thank you very much. I'm going to start with Jaja Victoria.
Okay, so thank you very much. I want to first of all say that I have really enjoyed this particular session because despite the fact that I'm one of the speakers, I've also enjoyed, hearing from the speakers. I've gotten a lot of knowledge from. I'm not going to attempt mentioning anyone's name because I'm going to do worse than Esther. Yes, I've enjoyed all of you, the lady on finance, the guy on HR, the other wealth guy. Sorry, I'm so bad at names. Not that I don't remember, but I've not even attempted. So, last thing, or my last statement, what I'm going to say for small businesses: simple. Be your brand every day. It can be more than that. Be your brand every day. Let them know that, oh, this is that real estate girl, oh, this is that perfume girl, oh, this is that coffee girl. Be your brand every day. That's how you sell. That's how people know you. That's how people get to know you. Yeah, so let me let other people talk. If you want to reach me, my Instagram is Jaja_the brand. Jaja_the brand. And my LinkedIn is Victoria Jaja. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, BusinessDay, for this opportunity once more.
All right, thank you, Jaja Victoria. And now I'll be moving on to Zubairu. 1 minute.
Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. To find me, I think predominant. I'm on LinkedIn as my name Zubairu Kadiri, and on Instagram, you'll find me as Zarconomist, spelled Czarconomist. My one advice to everyone right now is take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on yourself. I do recognize you have goals, targets, things you want to achieve, and there is this urge to push yourself extra, but please know your convenience threshold and just be happy that you are still here, you're still finding a way. That is enough to celebrate every day. I think the mental pressure around now because of the environment is making people push harder than they should. Just surviving 2024 is enough. When I say survive, I don't just mean you. Your business surviving 2024 is enough. There are so many factors you don't have control of. There are macroeconomic factors you cannot fight because you don't have the jurisdiction to fight them. But finding a way around them to stay better and different is enough. Even if all you do is survive in 2024 as a business, you should give yourself a pat in the back. That's a good job. That's my admonition to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that one, Zubairu. And we're going to moving on to Adeshino.
Thank you very much. My parting words for the audience is actually for you to, take your social capital, take it very, very close to your heart. In this current economy, one thing you don't want to lose is your social capital. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an individual, everything rises and falls on leadership, right? So if people can't trust you, who is the promoter of the business, they won't trust your business. So hold that social capital, because I know that a lot of people will be tempted to take money here and there from different sources and all that just to keep their business afloat. But I want to tell you that as you're taking that funds, make sure that you meet up to the obligations. And if for any reason you cannot meet that obligation, be upfront, reach out, communicate, renegotiate the terms. Don't just, go and just say, okay, bullshit it, whatsoever wants to happen, because once you lose that credibility, nobody wants to trust you. And it's a very small village. I know I'm talking too much, but I'm talking from a finance perspective here. It's a very small village. Somebody knows somebody who's going to put a word for you in the places where you least expect. So your social capital, hold it very close. And if you take care of the days, the years will take care of itself. Thank you very much. You can reach me on AJ Adewumi. So my initials AJ, then my surname, across all channels, or you can just follow Trade Lender across all channels. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very, very much for that one, AJ. I'll be moving on now to Ogugwa.
Okay, so my word for every business owner out there is top talents are either earning or they are learning. So if you want to attract top talents, make sure that they are either earning good money or that they are learning from your business. The moment they stop earning and they stop learning, they're on their way out. It's just the next opportunity and off they go. So let's do our best to, if we don't have all the money, make sure that they are learning something every day, every week, every month. And trust me, they will be happy to work with you. If you want to reach out to us for outsourcing, recruitment, any form of partnership, you can just go to my job mag on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other channels. And you can also reach out to me, Ogugwa Belong, on LinkedIn. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that one. And to our very, very beautiful speakers, well, we have Olami Dotun.
It's been a pleasure being on this panel, and I want to say thank you so much for having me, Business Day. Thank you so much to all the other panelists. I would say my last word to anyone listening is just know that your hands are not empty. Your hands are not empty, and stay innovative with your business. the most successful entrepreneurs are able to keep recreating and reinventing themselves. How you know you're successful is when the business can outlive you and you can move on to something else. That is how a lot of entrepreneurs, you know that you've created wealth. You know that you've created an opportunity for somebody else to not just depend on you, but they can have a job and build a career through you. So think beyond yourself and know that your hands are not empty. If you want to find out more information about me, I would say you can search for me online. My name, Olamidotuvutu Obada. You will find my website. You can also search for me on LinkedIn. And my name on Instagram is Olamidotu VO. So it's very simple. Olamidotu.VO, Olamidotuvutu Obada on LinkedIn, and or you go on my website, olamidotuvo.com, and you can find everything, even about my immigration consulting company, Philly Magna, or about my books, my children books that I write, which is really what I'm championing right now. I'm excited about meeting everybody here. I want to say thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Business Day.
All right, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for being my speakers. I really enjoyed every single session or every single person and speaker that spoke today. I had a great time. Thank you very much. And yes, I am Kemi Michael. I am a broadcast journalist right here on Business Day TV. And yes, in case you didn't know, you can in fact subscribe to Business Day Television to get information, everything audiovisual right here. And yes, do well to also subscribe to our paper, that is Business Day's newspaper. Go ahead, subscribe, both for the e-copy as well as the physical copy. We're giving all of that, all right? We're not just physical, but we're also virtual. So do well to have that subscription. You can also become a premium subscriber, and you're going to get everything all together in one place. I'm quite sure you would love that. Now to my speakers, let's say a little bit of cheese so we can take a picture. So if your camera is not on, kindly put it on and smile. So are we ready to take a picture? All right, thank you so much, and thank you for coming. Hopefully, I will see you in the next SME edition, the next SME Clinic, that's next month's edition. Do well to have yourselves a lovely, lovely month and a beautiful Christmas as well. Bye.